Congressman, I want to change gears a little bit and ask you about Iran. Obviously, Biden has talked about re-entering negotiations with them on the Iran nuclear deal. They have just come out and said that they are now going to increase uranium enrichment to 60%. We saw this during the Obama-Biden administration, how they approached Iran. They just sent them money. It was supposed to go to infrastructure, actually, for Iran, but it didn't go to that. It went to enriching uranium. And now they're planning on doing the same thing. Biden wants to send them more money. What's his strategy here?
Now, this is a very flawed strategy. As you know, the agreement itself was flawed. It had very critical terms that were in the bill that were in the agreement that would expire, that would allow then Iran to pursue a nuclear weapon. It had provisions that allowed them to continue their missile development, which would continue to put the United States at risk. So what you have here is the Obama deal, the Biden administration is running back into, is bad for America. It's bad for our allies. And now, of course, Iran is saying they're going to 60% enrichment. Weapons grade is 90%. They're going to be on their way to be able to obtain a nuclear weapon, which, of course, as they continue to try to obtain missile technology that would reach the United States, would put us at risk from a nuclear attack from Iran.
You know, you're one of the few members of Congress that actually sits on both the Intelligence Committee and the Armed Services Committee. So you mentioned our allies. What does this, potential re-entering the deal do to our ally, Israel, and the relationship between our government and the Biden administration?
Well, it certainly puts Israel at grave risk, but also even our European allies. Initially, when the United States stepped out of the deal, the Trump administration had said, let's renegotiate the deal. Let's close these loopholes where these incredibly important provisions have a short term and expire. Let's include missiles. Let's include malign activities. Let's make certain we have a more rigid inspection regime. Our European allies and Iran said they were going to stay in the deal. Obviously, Iran did not keep to that. The Biden administration, though, by trying to run back into this very flawed deal, certainly puts Iran closer to being able to obtain a nuclear weapon, and then, of course, being a real threat to both Israel, throughout the Middle East, our other allies, and, of course, Europe and the United States itself.
Congressman, I want to switch back to our borders and get your take on this in just about a minute left here. But we've seen so many members of Congress go down to the border, observe it firsthand to see how bad it is, which is great. But who can actually affect change? Can Congress do anything here, or are your hands tied?
Well, I think there's a number of legal maneuvers that have begun by states that I think can hold this administration accountable. But I think, one of the things that's most important is informing the American public, and you guys are doing a great job of that, of showing them what's happening down at the border. So the Biden administration, that continues to refuse to call this a crisis, cannot continue to deny the American public that, in fact, we have a Biden administration-created crisis, a humanitarian crisis. It's a child care crisis. That what is occurring is, of course, aiding those who are using illegal activity to get people across the border, and this is just awful to watch what's happening to the people that are coming across our border.
I have an idea, and you can steal it if you want. What if we just start calling the border crisis infrastructure? I mean, I'm just saying, suddenly that'll get funding. If you just called the border crisis infrastructure, that will get it solved. I'm just saying, take that to the conference, Congressman. Call it your idea, but I'm saying maybe that will work. But
the wall is infrastructure, right?
I appreciate you being here, and thank you for sharing us. Yeah, that's right. Your insight. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.